Hello Stampers, today I have for you this fun funky shaker card. You can see all those little bits in there shaking around. I really love the colour scheme. This is Soft Sky and Crumb Cake working together. I think it's really nice, it's really soft. And this is made using the Coffee Cafe bundle, which is 10% off when you buy it together. So let's get started. Okay, there's quite a few elements you'll need for this card. First off, you need a card base and some crumb cake. I'll put the measurements on my blog, which will be in the description bar below. You'll need a Whisper White panel, which on one side you'll need to use the layering circle Finlit. You will need to keep this piece as well because we're going to be popping that in the back. I've done this in advance just to keep the video short because it is a bit more complicated and more involved. So just to let you know what I've done there. And then you'll need some more smooth Whisper White and some Soft Sky in a strip. And other bits you'll need a frame which will go round the hole you've cut in the other piece of card. And this I've done with the scallop and the circle. I've just laid them together and put them through in one, and that's given me a nice little frame there. And this is in Crumb Cake. And I've also fussy cut out some elements out of the DSP. So I've got two little mugs and I've got a little coffee percolator, and I've stamped some little beans, and I've also cut them out ready. You will need to use Crumb Cake and Early Espresso ink. You will be needing something to put in your shaker card, so I've got the metallic sequin assortment. I think the colours are just perfect for this kind of coffee theme. It's all bronzes, golds, silvers and blacks. I think there's some white in there as well, but kind of metallic-y colours with black in there. And one of the important things which will enable you to make the shaker is Stampin' Up! Foam strips. These are amazing. They're a bit thicker than the dimensionals, as you can see here. They are quite a lot thicker, and it just gives you that enough room to basically enable your bits to shake around. And I think these are amazing. When I bought them, I've just had so much fun making shaker cards. So these are available on the Stampin' Up! Website. Definitely worth getting if you want to make shaker cards. Okay, so we're going to start with putting our crumb cake panel onto our card base. I'm going to use some Tombow for this. What we also need to do is place the circle down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this layer on. I'm going to put some Tombow on the back of here. You could skip this step and just put your stamped image on the back here. I just thought it gave a little bit more ease when trying to place my circle, my little window. And I'm going to pop that back in like so. And the other thing we need to do is put our little frame on. One thing I forgot to mention, which is quite important to make your window, is you're going to need some acetate to pop down, and you're also going to need an embossing buddy, which will help stop your shaking items stick to the foam adhesive. So I'm just going to trim this down a little bit because it is a little bit big. There we go. And I'm just going to put some Tombow around here. And then place the adhesive sheet on top. Like so. And then that creates your window so you can see all your shaking items. Okay, the next thing we're going to want to do is get our foam strips. I'm just going to peel that off. And this is very easy to kind of move in a circular motion. What will make it easier is if you take off the protective bit, it gives you more bendy room. So you want to do it so there's a little bit away from the edge, and just kind of feed that round. Okay, and that's joined up really nicely, and that will give you your section for your shaker. Now I'm also going to use the same stuff because you want it the same height, just to put around the edges, so that will raise your whole panel. Okay, so I'm going to put that to one side, bring back this panel, and you're going to want your little coffee bean stamps. Now for this I got the crumb cake, so it ties in nicely with this. Not really coffee bean colour, but it just adds a little bit to the background. And I'm going to stamp this randomly. Like so. And that's all you need the crumb cake for, so that can go. I'm going to bring in my early espresso. And I'm going to do the same again, but with a couple of the dark ones. And these can overlap, it doesn't matter too much. Maybe there. Okay, so now what we want to do is use your embossing buddy, and you want to go around the inside edge of your shaker card. This just makes that inside edge there not so sticky, and then your sequins or whatever you decide to put in there won't stick so much to the edging. You don't want to go too much over the top because that will stop your card sticking down. Okay, and I'm also going to do the same over here. This just works as an anti-static, so it doesn't, your sequins don't cling to the acetate or the glued areas. Okay, so I want 3 coffee beans that I've cut out, and I'm going to place them in the centre here. And I also want some sequins. Now last time I don't think I put enough sequins in there. I might put a few more in this time. Okay, let's just grab a few. Okay, I've probably put way too much in there, but I feel like it needed a bit more than I did last time. Okay, so I'm going to take off all these foam strips. Okay. So you're lining it up over the circle, and you're making sure there's a nice border around the edge. And you can see some of the sequins stuck straight up to the acetate, and that's the static where I tapped it, well, I had my finger while I was putting the bits. So it's alright, there's enough in there. Okay, now for our sentiment, we're going to bring back the early espresso. Ink that up really well, and you want it near the bottom, not too close to the bottom, but near the bottom, because we're going to put our coffee cups at the top. Okay, and then we're going to get our Tombow, and we want to glue this down to our base, leaving a little gap at the end. so, and the same with this panel. Bringing in our decoration pieces, we're going to need the ink again in a second, so I'm just going to do these coffee cups first. And then there's this cute little heart in the stamp set. There's a couple of hearts and bits, but this one I really love. It's kind of like got loads of little lines on it. And this one we're going to do at the top in the centre, like so. Okay, so now we're definitely done with the ink. Right. These extra bits I've put on to fill up some space. So we want one there. We want one here. Oops, took it with me. And now for our pot, we're going to have here, but we're going to pop this one up on dimensionals. There we go. So it's quite a thick card, so you're going to need a good envelope for it. Okay, so one thing I did forget is I did stamp the inside. So I'm just going to open that up and get my coffee beans back. Early espresso, and I'm just going to stamp on the inside here. Like so. And we're definitely done with the ink. Okay, so that's the inside of the card, and then that's the outside. We've got all our bits shaking around in there. And that's today's card. I do love a good shaker card. I think they're so fun to make. And it's really adorable. And you can put all sorts in here. You could even put, I've seen cards on Pinterest where they've done a coffee shaker card, but they've used real coffee beans, which I would have absolutely no problem with doing because I'm not a coffee drinker, I'm a tea drinker. But I love this metallic assortment, so I think it's perfect to go with the coffee bean kind of theme. And you've got a few of the other coffee beans in there. So I really thought that was cute. So like I said, I think this one I didn't put enough in there to shake around. This has got the right amount. But that's our card for today. If you do like it, please do give me a thumbs up and subscribe. The link to my blog and Facebook page are in the descriptions below. I will post more pictures on my blog and any measurements that you'll need to make this card yourself. Have a lovely day.